On a cold February morning in 1957, a young boy's body was found in a cardboard box in a wooded area of Philadelphia. He had no name, no family, and no one came forward to claim him. For over 6 decades, he has been known only as the boy in the box, a ghost who haunts the city's memory, his identity a riddle that has defied every attempt to solve it. The date was February 25, 1957. Philadelphia was a city of industry and grit, still recovering from the post-war boom that had reshaped America. The streets of Fox Chase, a quiet, semi-rural neighborhood on the city's northeast edge, were lined with modest homes and patches of woodland, a far cry from the bustling downtown factories and row houses. The post-war era had brought a sense of cautious optimism, but also a lingering unease, a world where children played freely, yet dangers lurked unseen. The weather that day was bitingly cold, with temperatures hovering near freezing, a gray sky threatening rain. The ground was damp, the underbrush sparse from winter's grip. Just before noon, a young man named Frederick Benenson was checking muskrat traps along a wooded path near Susquehanna Road, a quiet, winding lane that cut through the trees. He stumbled upon a cardboard box, a J.C. Penney bassinet carton, discarded among the brambles and fallen leaves. The box, roughly 3 feet long and 2 feet wide, was a common household item from the department store, sold for holding a baby's bedding. Inside, wrapped in a cheap flannel blanket of muted green and brown plaid, was the body of a small boy, perhaps 4 or 5 years old. The child was clean, his brown hair recently cut in a neat, home-style trim, his nails carefully trimmed. He had been bathed, his skin scrubbed free of dirt. But he was naked, save for a single white sock on his left foot, a detail that would haunt investigators for decades. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no obvious wounds. The scene was eerily staged, as if someone had tried to lay him to rest with a strange, sorrowful care. Frederick, shaken and pale, hurried to call the police from a nearby home. Crime. The investigation began immediately. The boy's body was transported to the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's office, where Dr. Joseph Spellman, the chief medical examiner, conducted the autopsy. The findings were clinical, but the picture they painted was heartbreaking. The boy was estimated to be between 4 and 6 years old, with brown hair and blue eyes. He weighed about 30 pounds and stood around 40 inches tall. He was well nourished, suggesting he had been cared for at some point. But there were signs of long-term abuse. Healed fractures on his ribs and collarbone indicated past injuries, likely from repeated blunt force. There were also faint, faded bruises on his body, suggesting recent trauma, perhaps from the days before his death. The cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head, a single, powerful blow that caused a massive subdural hemorrhage, killing him almost instantly. Yet there was no skull fracture, just the internal bleeding that shut down his young life. The boy had also been severely malnourished in the days before his death, his stomach empty and showing signs of dehydration. He had been cleaned, his hair cut, his nails trimmed, and then wrapped in the blanket, as if someone was trying to hide him or perhaps, in a twisted way, to give him a peaceful resting place. The police had a body, but no name, no family, no witnesses. The case was a blank slate, a mystery carved into the cold Philadelphia earth. Investigation. The Philadelphia Police Department launched one of the largest investigations in the city's history, deploying over 100 detectives in the early weeks. In 1957, police methods were still rooted in manual legwork and intuition. Fingerprinting was a painstaking process, with no national database to cross-check. They dusted the cardboard box for prints, but found only smudges, likely from the person who left it. They made a plaster cast of the boy's face, a haunting, lifelike image that would become iconic, a child with closed eyes, looking peaceful yet eternally lost. They circulated his photo, a composite sketch based on the cast, on posters tacked to telephone poles and in newspapers across the country, from the Philadelphia Inquirer to the New York Times. They released a description of the box, the blanket, the sock, every detail that might spark a memory. Detectives canvassed the Fox Chase neighborhood, knocking on doors, interviewing residents, their voices hoarse from the cold. They traced the box to a local J.C. Penney store, but the sale records from 1956 were long gone, lost to time. The blanket was a common type, sold in countless stores. The sock was a standard white cotton ankle sock, mass-produced. Every lead fizzled out. The public was captivated. Thousands of tips poured in, from people who thought they recognized the boy, from parents who feared their missing child might be him, from psychics and cranks. One detective recalled the emotional toll. You'd see his face every night, wondering who he was, who did this. It ate at you. But none of the tips panned out. The boy remained nameless. The investigation stalled, and the case grew cold, a weight on the conscience of the city. Suspects. Over the years, theories emerged, each one a thread in a tangled web. The most persistent and disturbing theory centered on a foster home. In the late 1990s, a woman named Marie, who had been a child in the 1950s, came forward to say that her mother, a woman referred to as M, had once taken in a boy who matched the description. Marie claimed that the boy had been abused, that her mother had beaten him severely, and that one night, he had died. According to Marie, her mother then placed the boy's body in a box and drove to Fox Chase, leaving him there. Marie's story was detailed, but it was uncorroborated. Her mother was long dead, and no other family members could confirm the tale. The police investigated, but found no evidence to tie M to the crime. Another theory pointed to a woman who ran a boarding house near Susquehanna Road, where a mysterious child was said to have lived briefly. Neighbors recalled seeing a boy with brown hair, but he vanished around the time of the discovery. Yet no records surfaced. There was also speculation about a traveling carnival that passed through Philadelphia in early 1957. Some wondered if the boy was a child of a carnival worker, abandoned or killed in the chaos of the road. In 2002, a different witness named Martha came forward, claiming she had been a child who saw a woman with a boy in a car near the dumping site. She described the woman as distressed, but the lead went cold. The case became a legend, a dark fairy tale whispered among true crime enthusiasts, with each new theory offering hope, then fading into silence. Aftermath. The boy in the box was buried in a potter's field, unclaimed and unnamed, in a simple grave at the Philadelphia County Prison. But the public's sympathy was immense. Donations poured in from strangers who read his story enough to give him a proper burial. In 1958, he was reinterred in a small, private ceremony at Ivy Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia, under a stone that read, "Heavenly Father, bless this unknown boy." For years, the grave was tended by volunteers, people who felt a connection to this lost child, leaving flowers and toys on anniversaries. In 1998, the Vitek Society, a group of cold case investigators founded by forensic experts, took on the case. They partnered with the Philadelphia police and the FBI to exhume the boy's body for DNA testing, hoping modern technology could finally give him a name. The exhumation was a solemn affair, conducted under a tent to shield from rain. But the DNA was too degraded, the samples too old for the techniques of the time. The boy remained a mystery. In 2022, a new effort began. The Vitek Society partnered with a DNA genealogy company to extract and analyze the boy's genetic material using advanced methods. They were able to build a partial DNA profile, then ran it through public databases, searching for distant relatives. In November 2022, they announced a breakthrough. They had identified the boy's likely biological parents, narrowing the search to a specific family tree. But the names were not released, pending further investigation and ethical considerations. As of 2025, the case is still open, still unsolved. The boy in the box, now known as America's unknown child, remains a symbol of all the forgotten, the lost, the unnamed. His grave is a pilgrimage site for those who cannot forget him. Every year, on the anniversary of his discovery, someone leaves a new toy, a flower, a note. He is not alone. But he is still a mystery. And in the quiet woods of Fox Chase, on a cold February morning, the answer may still be waiting, hidden in the shadows, just beyond our reach.